Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to talk a little bit about hit and run OCD, a topic that I spoke about the other day on the group, and I thought I want to go into a little bit more detail about this subject. Now, hit and run OCD has its grips usually in the past. So it's specifically looking for what in the past, what kind of thing could you have done, and it will look back at anything. Now, it doesn't have to be just in a car, for example. It can be on a bicycle. It can be walking down the street. It could be you knocked someone, you barged them when sort of crossing somewhere, or when rushing somewhere. I used to often get that feeling when I used to get off a plane. So I used to come off a plane, you've been sitting down for ages. There's obviously the mad rush for everyone trying to grab their suitcases, and I'd be coming off the plane, it'd be packed, and then you'd go down the stairs and suddenly there would be something like a really annoying passenger in front of you who's like carrying loads of luggage or whatever, and you're sort of in a rush to get off. And although you're cautious to get off, the OCD would always go, no, you just tried to hit them. You just tried to knock them. You just tried to barge them, which definitely, it sort of jumps in before you can notice it. And it gets in there and makes it feel like you just did. So it sort of jumps in that split second before. That's what it does. It's sneaky like that. So it makes you feel like you just tried to do something. You just tried to knock them, and it kind of feels like an internal voice, like the real you that tried to push. That's what it feels like, and it's very sneaky like that. It will try and go for things like elderly people, people that are vulnerable, children, small children. So if there's small children around you, what if you tried to knock them, barge them, those kind of things? And it comes in from nowhere. It's an anxiety response, but the way it feels is it feels so real, like you just tried to deliberately do it to them. You just tried to knock them. So I think that's an important one to watch. It will be prominent in things like where you're on a motorbike, in a car, where there was someone crossing, or there was this sort of cyclist that was vulnerable, and it will look for those things in the past, as I was talking about in the old video. But it doesn't have to be in the car. It can be versions of just walking and barging, walking and knocking, and what it will do is it will create often false memories that make you feel like you definitely did that. So you can imagine in your head replaying it and thinking, yes, I did see that. I saw them on the floor. I saw them knocked over. I remember them sort of trying to move or whatever, because OCD is going to do that. OCD makes it feel so real that it absolutely convinces you that that 100% you just did that. That's what OCD does. If OCD didn't feel real, then it wouldn't be a problem at all, this disorder. But the thing is, OCD it makes it feel as real as it can get. And that's what gets the grip in. You're so utterly convinced that it's real and that you've done something. So I think that's a very important thing to bear in mind with OCD, because otherwise we can easily start to get caught up in it. I mean, when I get those triggers do come in now and again. They're rare. I notice them sometimes. I got it when I was coming off an airplane a couple of months ago, and there was a woman walking with two young kids. And I felt like I tried to move past too quickly, and it tried to do that. But it couldn't latch and couldn't release because of the unconditional self-acceptance that's there, felt and believed. And I really sort of live by that. So it doesn't have that hold. So I think that's very important to understand how it works. But the main thing is, don't try and replay it. Don't try and keep replaying that, because you're not going to be able to get relief for that. We quickly chase and replay the moment. How scared was I? No, not how scared. Yeah. How angry was I when I was walking past? How quick was I trying to get past? How did they move? And replaying the scenario from all angles is not a good way to go. We often do it, but it's definitely not a good way to go. What other areas does that come in? Areas of responsibility. So maybe if you're in a job that involves operating some kind of machinery, then you could definitely get that, I imagine. What other things could you have it in? Jumping in a swimming pool, you can probably get it there. Was there somebody below or nearby that you could have knocked? jumping in the sea or whatever, those kind of situations. Driving could be anything. Driving could be related to driving a boat, could be related to flying a plane. It could all be the same. What did I check that there was not someone there? Was there a diver there when I was going along? And I like to mention all of these points, although they might not sound like an obvious theme, and a lot of people will think, oh, that's very rare, not many people. We've got to think about how many people could have OCD. And you've also got to think how many people could be in a situation like that where it's holding their whole life back. I mean, I hear every situation you could imagine come through the door from different people and different life experiences. There's not many that I haven't heard. And so I think it's important to cover all those aspects. Otherwise, people often think, oh, it's only my situation's different. And it's like that. I mean, I used to have for a very long time an image of someone sort of lying in the road, which I'd knocked when I was on a motorbike, and I thought like that for years, that was real, and that was definitely it. So yeah, there's going to be versions of that. I mean, look, all of these harm-related OCDs come down to sort of trying to latch into reality. I was just sort of, think of any career that you can think of. If you're a hairdresser, it will go, what if you went to chop off their ear? What if you wanted to stab them in the head because you got angry? If you are a builder, what if you wanted to throw this tool at them? What if when you were doing that job with them, you went to chop their hand off or whatever? It's gonna come from whatever angle it can get its hands on. What other things? Oh, it used to get me with carrying things, paintings, like carrying a painting up the stairs or carrying a sofa up the stairs. It used to get me on that one, which I've covered on here before. What if I pushed that sofa to try and hurt my dad when I was angry with him or something, and replaying that event for years? It was a common one of mine. Various versions of those kinds of things. It's going a little bit off topic, but all harm-related OCD in workplace environment, it can come in anywhere. If you're a bartender, did you pour too much alcohol? Did you give them an allergy? Did you listen to what they said? If you're a waiter, all versions of that. We can go on and on about that, and we'll go a bit too far off topic. Let's have a look and see if there's any specific questions relating to this. I can't stop thinking about images in my mind, like real photos in my mind that I can't remove, and they make me feel uncomfortable because of the faces of the people I don't want to think about. Well, the problem is you don't want to think about them. That's why it's causing you a problem. So it's about learning to accept them, those images, not try and get rid of them, and think of them on purpose. If it's people that you really don't want to think of, it's only the fear of the image. I mean, I couldn't care what image got stuck in my head; would make no difference to me whatsoever. It's the fear of having the image stuck in your head that's the problem. I've got the image stuck in my head at the moment. I need a haircut. That's going to play over for the moment. Are exposures for checking OCD as simple as locking the door, not checking and accepting the uncertainty? Absolutely. And taking the risk that your house might get robbed, your house might get burgled, your insurance might not cover, all kinds of things like that. Going to the worst case if it doesn't release. Your account genuinely saved my life. That's what I like to hear, because that's what it's all about. That's what we do it for, to change awareness on OCD, which has got such a limited amount of information that actually really gets under OCD. And that's what compelled me to do this. Been 6 years, almost 7. I don't remove an earring. I feel like I remove it, everything I've done in my life of good will be gone and revert. Yeah, that's magical thinking, because no earrings has got any reference to reality whatsoever. So it's just a case of you getting used to taking that earring out and feeling the discomfort regardless. And seeing whatever happens. You've got to take that risk. Maybe you can't become a good or a bad person. You'll learn that through the third book on the reading list, The Myth of Self-Esteem, which goes into that in great detail. Is it possible to make a schedule of your lives so we can arrange time to attend? Yes, we are going to be doing schedules for the lives. They all are uploaded onto the YouTube. I definitely will do that. I just haven't got round to it because I've been very busy, but that's no excuse. And I just kind of like doing them sporadically, but again, that's no excuse. So I think we will get a schedule going that's more regular, so it helps you guys come to the topics that you want to see. Is it common? Is always reassurance usually. Haven't been able to drive for 9 months. Scared in case I was to hit someone, constantly rechecking whilst driving. Now I can't walk about myself because scared in case these problems happen whilst walking. Yeah, it's going to keep getting in and it's going to move more and more. So you really do have to you really have to get under it. You can't just try and avoid it. Like I said, that's why I was drawing attention to this in this Instagram live, that the things you avoid, it's going to get into. It's going to get into walking. Even if you were sitting down and you didn't move, it would say you moved your arm to knock someone. I used to get that one when someone wanted a hot cup of tea or something and think, oh, I meant to knock that on that person and burn them and things like that. So it's always going to find a way to do that. Why can't I stop asking for reassurance? It's just because you're used to asking for reassurance. So you've got to get used to not asking for reassurance. That's what's key. When you've been asking for reassurance a lot, it's become a habit. So you just need to start not doing that till it becomes a habit of not doing so, and then that releases, and it becomes more your natural feeling. But at the moment, to you, it feels it's persisting because you've built that up as a cycle. So it feels sort of, although it's uncomfortable, it feels comfortable in the uncomfortable doing that cycle. So you need to break that down. Should I just keep driving and walking about myself? Is that the best approach? Absolutely. Keep driving, keep walking, keep living. Don't adjust your life. You know, you've got to live life on your terms. You're in the driving seat, not OCD. The problem is when you start adjusting your life to accommodate OCD, that's when the problems occur. So you definitely don't want to be doing that. Okay, guys, I'll be back on the next Instagram live soon, doing another topic. I will get a schedule going soon for the different topics on these Instagram lives, and I will cover, yes, religious OCD. It's a popular one that I need to do. I will do that, and I think I've covered hit and run OCD. I'm just trying to think if there's anything more that I wanted to add. I don't think so. I think that your panic attack video has brought me out of an anxious state so many times I'm able to do it on my own now. That's fantastic. I'm really glad about that. I do think that panic attack video does nail the main points, and I try and get more people to watch that because it's something where people get lost and feel scared so easily, but in reality it's one that's much, well, it's not like, it's much easier than sort of trying to recover from a harder OCD, some of the harder themes, but then anything can be difficult for anyone, but some of them require a lot more work. Panic attack is very much just going into it, facing that fear, telling it to bring it on and do the worst, and that's what makes it reduce. Let's have a look. Okay, I think that covers pretty much everything. Guys, I will see you on the next Instagram Live. See you later. Bye.